Here's my prediction for the new Viper Wall meta on Sunset, and why most teams still aren't using her utility to its full potential. In this video, I'll show a few Viper setups that fix problems teams don't even realize they have. After the new patch that nerfed her util damage, Viper's role on attack shifts a little. Her walls and orbs are now more suited for defaulting and having more opportunity for taking map space, instead of saving orb a lot of time for post-plant disruption. Here are examples of two walls that, in my opinion, are really good but don't bring out the full value and potential of the Viper Wall. And in a bit, I will mention some issues that are prominent but people may overlook. The two examples, MIBR's B wall and PRX's B wall. Both are really good for standard mid-re clear, but the B section of the wall relies on specific conditions to be met. MIBR's only really good for B retakes, having fluid sectioning helping minimize angles when re-clearing on retakes, while PRX's wall, same idea with retake and flood advantages, but also needs Viper alive post-plant to really shine on the diffuse. So they're strong but situational. A lot of teams have their walls cover B and mid instead of A and mid. Sometimes they don't even cover tiles. I see it differently from how most VCT teams treat it on this map, and I want to have a wall that's similar to Icebox defense, a wall that will have really good round-to-round use cases. I think a wall that people will be using more in the future is this wall that covers mid tiles and A. This wall will pretty much be put to use every single round, as A main is the most common fighting point on this map. First of all, this mid to A wall is good because it lowers the APM for Omen when falling back. APM is actions per minute. It's a real problem that I think many people don't really consider. Having the option open for more potential plays rather than being stuck having to Omen blind or TP away and then aim the one way and then smoke as well. There's a reason why champs like Astra, KO and Breach, etc. they tend to have lower KD and fewer kills because they have to do a lot of stuff that's not shooting or being in good positions to shoot. So this wall alleviates that pressure from our A anchor, most of the time Omen, letting him find more opportunities and react more freely without being stuck in Omen realm or having utility in hand. Lower APM means less util you have to use, better positioning and judgment, and better concentration on your crosshair. Second of all, this wall is great for reclears. If you're running a flash agent, you can easily do second timing flash/recon combos. If your A main take isn't as strong as the enemies, the wall is much closer to the angle where you can start shooting compared to the traditional one way. It cuts out that half a second delay where you normally jump or run after the flash to peek. Third of all, this wall is great for retaking A. I had a look at the vstats.gg. The average post-plant A win rate for attackers is higher than B, so we look to drop that number. If our first wave fails, or we start the round with heavy mid/B and we have to play retake A, this wall helps because the likelihood of having two Omen smokes late round is really low. With this wall, we can smoke elbow with Omen and have short blocked with the Viper wall. This allows all our util, so stuns, flashes, paranoia, to be condensed onto the site now, and the enemy can only run out of the smokes, and players holding from the back can easily catch them. Finally, this wall is great for mid. You can do wall drop at tiles for easy mid reclears with 2 to 3 people. It's also great for defense aggro. Most teams have a strat where they instantly fly tiles, so having that fallback option after killing 1 or 2 is super underrated, since my wall extends further into tiles. That extra second of cover while falling back could be crucial compared to other teams' walls that don't cover tiles at all. The second wall I'll be talking about is an attack wall. So with introduction of Veto is especially good on maps with chokes that have ceilings. So I think Veto would be played more on Sunset compared to other maps. A normal team would have a hard time looking straight up on the choke to break it. It's hard to execute on first timing, and almost all traditional utility like shocks or nades used to break sentinel util can't break this thing since it's just in the air. Some teams put their wall mid or A. Before, some teams used to do this B wall on attack, but PRX does this wall on defense in most recent games where it segregates B main into sections. I think this Viper wall B is actually heavily underrated on attack as well, so we're gonna use it on attack instead and extend it slightly so it covers the left cubby. The reason the wall isn't extended deeper onto site is because you need part of it in B main to process angles more easily and do wall drops on potential players holding inside. With this wall, we can break Veto's neutralizing utility or any sentinel utility a lot easier, and we don't need to trade as much utility to accomplish the objective. It also blocks vision of the common Cypher cam in market window if they're playing Cypher. At start round, or if you're alone, you can also play around the back of the wall, the enemy's aggro. Similar to Lotus wall, you can juke around and dodge utility for potential kills. But if you're doing a B main default, if you have Yoru for example, it's great for contact plays. You push to the end of the wall, drop it, and look for duels around market. And another default idea is using the falling Omen smoke into market. You pair it with dropping the wall, and you add an advantageous fight. Even if there's no one there, it puts immense pressure on B. And realistically, we're barely using any util, just wall and Omen smoke for manager contact up. This wall is also a lot better for pops. Since you're shifting the map design with the wall, you're making the choke further out than it actually is. It's also a lot easier to pair with Sage, since the Sage wall range buff allows you to wall market or backside more effectively during pops while your wall is up. Therefore, you're not exposed in the open trying to aim the wall anymore. Meanwhile, we place the orb at A. For info denial, an easy way to retake A main once the enemy Omen has cycled through all his one-ways. He'll be afraid to throw another one-way because after he's used his second smoke and he's on his third or fourth, he's very vulnerable to rushes on B or A since he can't smoke both chokes due to cooldowns. So having the timing and info on the enemy's utility cycle is crucial. Knowing when to put up your orb at A makes a huge difference. Even if you're faking with the orb, it could cause enemies to lean over in anticipation of an A retake if the whole map is quiet. Finally, we'll talk about some Viper orbs based on the objective of the round. So this one's a anti-orb Viper Orb. When the enemy is on eco, sometimes all they do is try to grab the orbs. So you can place utility to deny that. You go for duels, double holds, or trap setups around the orb. It's also great for when you're retaking B. Helps isolate right side fights. Second orb is a more ratty orb. It's the standard B main orb, but you have to make it bleed out a bit. So this way, it also kind of changes the choke for them. The choke is no longer like a 90-degree entrance. When they walk out the smoke, they have to be wary of even more angles now, and they have to flick further left or right. On top of that, if you want to clear left and right, you need to commit more util than before. These kind of orbs are also good because you can look to enter the smoke very easily as it bleeds out onto your side. You can catch timings a lot easier. Third orb is a retake orb or backside orb. So this disrupts the enemies when they're trying to take backside, and it makes retaking B a lot easier for your team. Final orb is a Viper Orb one way for A main control. This is good at round start, and it's great for occasional pace changes when you've been playing very defensively and you suddenly switch up, as this Viper Orb is very favorable for controlling A main at the start. For attacking orbs, an orb that I predict people will be using more is the orb top mid. As mentioned before, since the orb does less damage now, it should be used more like a normal smoke rather than disruptive post-plant utility. Viper Orb mid is completely viable for early mid control and revisiting mid later now. It gives fallback options to mid if you're running low on Omen smokes during defaults. Let's say you take A main and you want to come back to mid, you can put that smoke up whenever you want. It also slightly weakens enemy mid reclures due to the 20-30 damage that they take coming out. Another point is orb top mid allows you to smoke market or cage market, lowering the chance of your other utility like dart, eye or dog being destroyed early. Next video, I will show a broken new Haven combo that might be the new meta.